So that was what ended the marriage. It was the fact that we kept malice for 3 weeks and I was pregnant in the same house. Oh. I just packed my bags one day and I said, oh, I'm leaving. I'm going back to my father's house. Oh. What is this?
3 weeks.
What is going on here?
Like, why do men keep malice? Like, do you think it's healthy to keep malice like a married man?
No, the point is, it's very deep. I think we are losing focus on what's most important. And what's most important is that is keeping malice enough reason for a person to leave their marriage or divorce their husband? No, I don't think it's enough. I don't think that reason is enough. And keeping malice for a man, to my own understanding, this is my opinion. A man, a woman will call it malice, but a man will call it silent treatment. You understand?
What's the difference?
The difference is that I love you, I care for you, but you have offended me greatly, and I am so pissed at you right now that I am too angry to even say a word to you.
For 3 weeks.
Yes.
For 3 months.
And the reason why it lasts for 3 weeks is if, especially for men, honestly, if you ask any man will tell you this. If the person that they live with, especially their wife, is not taking correction or is not willing to take accountability or responsibility for what the husband has called her out for or what the husband have actually reported her for, if she's not willing to take responsibility for that, it will stretch to 6 months, 1 year. That's how men are built.
And they are happy.
They're not happy. Which man would marry a wife, and now the wife offends him or disobeys him or disrespects him, and the man is telling the wife, you disrespected me or you disobeyed me, and she's not accepting, she's not taking responsibility, she's not doing anything to change that. Which man would be happy in that situation? No man would be. And if when the point the man comes to a conclusion to say that, okay, the marriage would last for 3 weeks or 1 month or 3 months, it means now like there's a serious problem. It means that this woman is not ready to make amends of the situation at hand. She's not ready. She wants to live in that life of maybe disrespect or disrepute or disobedience or insult or rudeness or arrogance. And Iyvone Jegede also mentioned that when they were dating, like when they were friends,
she was really free with the guy, that she could make comments like, hey, like that kind of casual
talks. She could make comments like,
come here, get out and all that. Yeah.
But no.
But now it's marriage. It's something different. It's different. Yeah, exactly.
You can tell your friend, you can tell your friend, get out, your paw, your this, your head, big nose, big nyash, all of those things. You can, push your friend and, there will be no problem. But when that your friend converts or transits from being your friend
to become your husband
or your wife, the treatment cannot be the same. The things you say cannot be the same. This is applicable to men as much as it's applicable to women. A man cannot just, when you were dating a woman, you talk to her anyhow, you tell her anything you want to tell her and just do anyhow. And then when you marry her, you still want to be talking to her the same way. Come on now, where's the honor?
So what advice would you give to women who would find themselves in this kind of situation whereby you live with someone who likes to keep malice? Like, oh my God, like it can go for weeks, it can go for months, and even go like 1 year, 2 years and more. So what kind of advice would you want to give to such women? How do you think they can cope in that situation? Because I don't think, so I will not speak for everyone, that women likes that kind of treatment. Every woman wants to conversate. We want to have communication. We want to talk. We want to have fun. We want to play. So it's not, I don't think it's a woman thing to keep malice.
No, women don't like to. Even though we like to keep malice with each other, with their gender, they like to keep malice with their gender.
We like to express ourselves.
But when it comes to somebody they are married to, or their brother, or their sister, their mother, or their father, no. The women like to verbally express themselves. You understand? No, not communicate precisely, because a lot of women talk does not mean that they are communicating. There's a big difference. You understand? A lot of women and they've said like 100 words, and out of that 100 words, you cannot pick out one tangible one.
And it's not communication.
And that's not communication. So, but what I would advise, like you asked, what I would advise is take your time. listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Is what he's saying valid? What your husband is saying, or what that man is saying, or whoever it is it valid? If it was coming from someone of a higher hierarchy, like a pastor, your boss, your manager, or director, would you pay attention? Would you listen? Would you want to do something about it to keep that job or to keep that relationship with that person?
That's deep.
Then
if it's yes, then why not do it for your own home?
Why don't you do it for your own home, for your own husband? Any woman, in my opinion, any woman who just packs her bag and leave because your husband is keeping quiet or keeping silent at you for something you may have done or may not have done is silly. I will tell you categorically, that's silly. That's a very high level of irresponsibility, and it's not good for marriage. It's not good for marriage, honestly.
So most men are malicious.
No, a lot of men are very logical when in thinking and in actions, and a man would lock up. You're calling it malice now. Iyvone Jegede called it malice, and a lot of women will call it malice. And even I went.
But it's malice.
I know. Wait. I will explain to you what the difference is. I went through the comment section on Nedu Wazobia's podcast. If you see, a lot of women were there saying, "Oh, this is exactly the same thing I'm going through. Oh, my husband have not talked to me for 4 weeks now." You know, so you see,
it's a general thing. Yeah,
it's a general thing, but that's not the question we should be asking. The root of the problem is what is actually generating this quote and unquote malicious behavior from men. What? So the question is, Auntie, what are you doing to your husband that is driving him to that point of not talking to you for 3 weeks? Hello?
Yeah, okay, so I understand.
Do you get my point?
We need to be conscious of our actions and
of their actions
we do,
and behavior,
say,
your does, your do's, your don'ts. And if your husband has the effrontery to even call it out or say it, the least you could do is to actually reflect on it.
Okay, so let me ask you one last question.
Yes.
There are men who don't necessarily need to be offended, you don't even need to do something against them. You don't even need to offend them. They are just naturally, or is inbuilt, it's in their DNA. They are malicious, it's in their DNA, it runs in their blood. So how if you end up with that kind of man? Because I cannot believe that 100%
malice does not run
that
in
it's a woman's
blood.
fault. No, it is. It should be.
No.
There are some men who
there are men who, there are people who are malicious, who just like to deliberately keep quiet. But you
keep quiet. Can we just call it what it is?
Okay, malice.
Good.
Let's call it malice.
Thank you, sir.
But then there is a reason, or there is something that generates that malice. And if we solve that thing that generates malice, then you would have solved the whole problem. But wait, there's something we're missing here. When a man gets to the point of keeping malice for that long, it means that I have talked and talked and talked. He has talked and talked, tried all the tricks in the book to get this woman to understand and follow the vision. But she is being adamant and putting her foot down and trying to show powers or do some sort of power tussle. Because I don't see any reason why. Okay, let's say the man is malicious and keeping quiet for 3 weeks. How did it get to 3 weeks? If the woman accepted that silence or accepted that malice, then it will last that long. But if the woman comes out every morning and say good morning, every evening, every afternoon, whether he's still talking or...
Having gone through the comment section, I heard that some of them would greet months, years, and the same answer, the same treatment.
The question is, leaving the house. The point is, there is something the man is angry about. If you talk to him and apologize to him, let him know that, okay, I get your point, I understand what you're saying, and I will do my best to try and do better. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you would have solved a lot of problems. But packing your bag and leaving is not the best answer. And honestly, men, if you ask a lot of men, maybe this is my opinion, but I know that it works the same way for a lot of men. So men would naturally talk to their wife, explain to their wife, try to get their wife to understand, try to work together with their wife. But when the thing blows out of line, crosses boundaries, there is one major reason why a lot of men lock up. And you call it malice, but me, I call it switch off mood. It is called switch off mood.
When things escalate.
When things escalate, a man goes into that side, withdraws into himself immediately.
So what if it's coming from a place from the woman's side?
No, wait, calm down.
What if the woman is the one giving?
Calm down. Let's finish from the man's side. The man withdraws into his own cocoon. That's what I'll call it, his own eggshell, to stay there like a tortoise when there's danger. You try to touch it, he withdraws and he goes into his own cocoon.
Until he feels
safe. That the environment is safe enough for him to come out. This is how every man operates. And when you come to a husband and wife, it's the same thing applicable. If a man feels like this woman that I married and called my wife, who is supposed to be bringing peace to our house, is becoming competitive with me, is becoming argumentative, is becoming unagreeable, is becoming maybe nonchalant, rude or arrogant, and it's prompting some certain level of emotion that would bring aggressiveness out of me as a man. And I know that I have power and I have strength. At one punch, you will lay flat on the ground. Or maybe one thing I would do would just drive me into talking myself into anger that will lead to a physical abuse. Every right man, every man, or every sensible man, or every man in his right senses will withdraw into that eggshell. And I encourage it.
Instead of being
violent.
I
encourage it. Instead of being violent, instead of being aggressive, instead of being abusive, physically or verbally, every man should actually withdraw into their shells if the situation is critical.
Okay, so malice is in you people's DNA.
No, it's not. What are you even saying? Malice is in you people's DNA. Like I say, you call it malice. I don't see it to be malice. I see it to be a strategy to save your home, to save yourself. Honestly, to avoid a greater calamity. Do you, all these women that you've heard that died in their marriages, how do you think it happened?
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yeah, it could have been avoided.
It could have been avoided. And this thing you're calling malice now is the best way a man can actually avoid such thing from happening. From him going to jail, from him killing his wife, from him killing somebody, from him committing a greater abomination. Okay. And I would encourage that. And every woman or every wife in her right senses should give that man time to heal. Instead of packing your bags and leaving. And I think that's where Iyvone Jegede got it wrong. She shouldn't have left. She should have solved it. And another issue is that